Welcome back, it's Javier.
And Adela. And today, we're getting deep. We're getting intense today. We're going to be talking about this movie right here. It is called Climax. It is a French movie. It is in French, so if you don't speak French, which I know probably at least one of you does, then you'll have to read subtitles like we did. But it's
a very interesting movie to talk about.
I don't know if I'm fully prepared to talk about this movie, guys. This is intense. There's really not even much we could say about it because it's one of those movies where you'd have to really watch it to understand why it's so fucked up.
This one is definitely messed up for sure. Now this movie, it was distributed or released originally through A24, which if you are a big horror fan, they pretty much make some of like the best horror movies out today, like Hereditary, Midsommar, The Witch.
A lot of like psychological horror, which is my favorite genre of horror because it really does just fuck you up. And this one is definitely one of those. So this is from filmmaker Gaspar Noe. I know he's been making movies since the 80s, and he's always been known from the beginning as pushing the limits of what appears in a movie. I think they said he was Brazilian and French or something like that.
Well, Argentinian, that's what it was.
I thought it was Brazilian.
You might be right.
Oh, some South American country. And then he moved to France at some point and started making French movies. This is his newest one. It was released in 2018. And it is a fucking trip. This movie, it's like, oh man, I don't even know where to begin with this movie. Basically, it's about this like dance crew that they're having a party to celebrate some like gig or something that they had, and it just fucking spirals. And it's, oh my gosh, it's an acid trip of a movie, literally.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a...
Literally.
So this movie is a little like it's a little slow burn. From like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. It's one of those that's just... It just slowly descends into a fucking pit of horror and nonsense. It is hard to watch. This is not the kind of movie that's like, let's watch a scary movie kind of casual watch. This is I feel like I want to be fucked up for a couple weeks after watching it.
This movie is not for the typical horror fan. Now, if you are a hardcore horror fan, if you're seeking out something different, this movie is definitely for you. Yeah. If you can get past probably the first 30 minutes of the movie or so, then you're in for like a fucking shitstorm.
This fucking something, man.
Just ahead of time so you guys know, there is a lot of dancing in this movie since it is,
it's a dance movie of fucking nightmares. So, yeah, it's basically this whole troupe of dancers that are having this big party in this, like, abandoned school to celebrate something. We don't really know for sure. It switches back and forth from a lot of the main characters. There's one particular female who is, like, the main character, but then it switches back and forth from, 10 or 12, main characters, and then there's a few, other people sprinkled in. And it's just chaos. It's hard to watch. There are, trigger warning, there are, some bad stuff in here. Bad stuff. And I literally don't know how to describe this movie. There's no words other than it's just fucking delirium.
Yeah, this movie is pure insanity. This is, I thought I knew what extreme horror was. Because we're both big horror fans, and we've seen a lot of stuff. Watching this movie, we were kind of bored with it again with the first half hour. Okay, how in the world is this going to turn into a horror movie?
Yeah, and what's really weird is that they get, the credits in the beginning, and then there's, a full credit roll in the middle of the movie where you think it's over, and you're like, what? But then it just continues. It's super weird. And this filmmaker is a genius when it comes to his score, his lighting, his camera work, the angles he shoots at. There's one whole scene in the movie that's shot like down, like bird's eye view down, and it's fucking insane.
And honestly, I've never really, this director, I've never ever heard of this guy at all. Like, I know it's weird, we're horror fans, but we've never heard of this guy before until watching this movie.
Yeah.
We watched some of the bonus features on there, and you know, this guy, you kind of have to be a little demented to kind of make the kind of stuff he's doing.
Yeah, like this,
Like,
it's just...
He even did like a safe sex advertisement.
Like a PSA that was very, very graphic. Like, it was literally a PSA porno. Like, there's no way that you can fake the kind of stuff that he does in these movies. Like, this is, like, 100%, like, real in, like, the stuff that he does. The borders that he breaks. The lines that he crosses.
Yeah, this guy is not afraid to, like, cross boundaries. Like, he's not afraid to, like, tear down walls with this kind of stuff. Like, he's a very
controversial filmmaker. Obviously, this is the only movie of his we've seen, but we did watch the special features and some exclusives on some of the other films he's made. And I can't believe that a lot of this stuff is even allowed to be shown.
From everything I did read about this movie, though, this is probably, like, the tamest movie he's ever done. Which, for being the tamest movie this person has ever done, this is... It's insane. This movie is very colorful. There's like a lot of like cool lighting effects, and one of the best things about this movie is obviously the choreography that goes into all this dancing, because
yeah.
And that's another cool thing about this movie. They used a lot of actual just dancers for the roles in this movie. Like, they're not really like well-known actors or anything, so I do appreciate that about this movie.
Well, I mean, it's also French, so even if they were well-known, we wouldn't know it because we're not French or really in tune with French actors.
True. Very, very true.
But it does have Sofia Boutella in it. She was in that Atomic Blonde movie. We've never seen it, but I remember seeing advertisement for it all over the place. And she's like the main character. But there's some brutal ass shit that happens in this movie, so just be warned. Like, this is not a casual, scary movie. Like, this is intense.
Yeah, there's no jump scares or anything. This movie is pure psychological, so honestly, be prepared to be thinking about this movie long after you're done watching it. Like,
yeah, I know that I did. This movie fucked me up. I dreamt about it the night after we watched it. I couldn't stop thinking about it for a few days after we watched it. Like, it's just one of those movies that just gets ingrained in your mind and it sticks with you, and it really fucks you up. Unless you're already fucked up enough, and then maybe it won't fuck you up, but it fucked me up.
There's definitely some, like, really long sequences in this movie that, like, you start, like, getting kind of, like...
You feel delirious.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming in some scenes. It's like...
There was some, like, I felt like I was gonna be physically sick. Like, I felt sick to my stomach. Like, this movie literally, it fucks you up. Like, there's nothing else you can say. It's just pure delirium. It's chaos. It's... Ugh.
With all the cool effects in this movie and everything, like, all, like, the visuals, the artistic style that this guy took, if you're gonna watch this movie, just watch it sober. Like, we don't do drugs at all. But, like, this is one of those movies that I feel like...
If you were already fucked up, like, it would fuck you up way more.
Like, yeah, do yourself a favor. Do not go into this movie, like, under the influence or anything. Just watch it sober. That's, like, probably the best recommendation I can make about this movie.
It is just psychotic.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like there's
some really, really twisted scenes in this movie, some twisted acts of stuff happening, like...
It's just, there's really not much we can say.
No.
It's just insane. It's insanity. This whole movie is pure insanity. It is a whole ass acid trip.
This is probably
Literally.
one of those movies, like, I really do appreciate getting this movie in horror pack because I don't really.
We never would have discovered this movie on our own, I don't think.
So I do thank horror pack for sending us this one. It was definitely something, and as a horror fan, you watch everything horror that comes out, so eventually you kind of get like,
Everything just is the same. It's the same old, same old. And this is the kind of movie that just resets the horror genre for you. Like, it's just like, oh, shit.
Like, this is...
Like, The Witch is one of my favorite movies. Like, I've mentioned that in our video we did in October of the best horror movies. That's one of my favorites. I think it's great. I love psychological horror. And this one just takes that to a whole fucking other new place.
This is definitely, if you are a hardcore horror movie fan, chances are you've probably watched this movie, or if you're probably seeking to look for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is right up your alley. Now, again, this is not for the casual horror movie watcher.
No.
So if you're just into watching stuff like Child's Play, like a ghost movie, this is not for you.
Mm-mm. Nope. I don't even think it was for me. I think it fucked me up. I'm still fucked up.
Yeah, with
I will
this
never
movie,
watch it again.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is probably one I want to revisit personally. I mean, it was a really good movie. I'm gonna say that it was, but
it's an amazing movie. The way that the lighting, the camera work, the score, everything works so well together to just really get you in that headspace of like, this is fucked up, and I am fucked up for watching it. Like it all just works together beautifully. This guy is a genius.
It's probably one of the best psychological movies I've seen in like a long time.
But I can tell you that I'm not interested in watching any of his other movies. I'm good. I'm just gonna let that go. That's fine. This one fucked me up enough. I don't need anything else.
But with this movie, I think I'm gonna have to go with like, honestly,
I think it's perfect.
Yeah, this is well done. This is well done.
It's perfect. Like, it really is. In the genre and the category and the effect that Noe wanted it to have, it's perfect. Like, it's a fucking 10 out of 10.
This is French extreme horror at its best. Like, this is good.
We've only ever watched one other French horror movie, and that one was also really good, but in a totally different way. So, like, it wasn't obviously by the same guy. We've never seen any of his other movies. It was just another French film, and that one was pretty crazy, too.
Yeah, this one, thank you, Horror Pack. I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10. And I know that's a really high rating because...
We've never given another movie 10 out of 10. Ever. Ever.
But this one, this is something you should at least watch once.
If you're up for it. If you're not in the mental space to watch something like this, then don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Like, I don't even think I was honestly in the mental space because it fucked me up. Yeah,
and again, if you guys do end up watching this movie, keep in mind that the first half hour or so is kind of slow burn, but you do get, backstory on all the different characters, so that is a really good thing.
At the same time, though, the first part of the movie, it might be slow, but it also builds your anxiety. Like, it's like, what is going to happen? Like, what is this leading up to? Like, I don't understand what's going on. So you're kind of, like, in that zone already to where it's like, how is this going to turn into a horror movie? Like, how does this get scary? What's going to happen? So it builds your anxiety from the start, like, from the get-go. But, like, nothing, like, super crazy starts happening until a while into the movie, but it definitely does a good job of building your anxiety for sure. I felt anxious this whole movie.
This is it's a very good watch, and again, I don't really think I'm ever gonna.
This is a great one to have in our collection. It'll be great, but
I mean, maybe like at some point I might feel the need to watch this movie again.
I really don't.
But we're still trying to get over the initial effect that this movie had on us, because this movie really does keep you. For if you haven't experienced a movie like this, it really has you thinking about it so long afterwards. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it stayed with me. Like, it's ingrained in my mind. There's things I'm never going to be able to unsee. It's fucking insane. And like I said, there's really not much we can say about it. Like, there really isn't. It's the kind of movie you just have to watch to really realize why it's so fucked up. But, yeah, that's really all we can say about it. It's fucked up. And, like, none of these characters are likable either. That's a big thing, too. Like, you don't like really any of these characters.
Yeah, there's two particular characters in this movie that you're like, what the?
Yeah,
like, you're just disgusted by those characters.
There's a few of them that are just gross, but really none of them are likable. Maybe like 2 or 3 are actual likable people, but like most of them are just trash ass people. Oh man, yeah, this movie's intense. It fucked me up.
Yeah, if you're in the mood for something extreme, this movie is gonna be right up your alley. And I honestly think this is something everybody should experience at least once. Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna go on the other side of that and be like, wouldn't fucking push this onto anybody. Like, if you feel ever so inclined to go watch it, do it. Do you, bitch. Like, do what you gotta do. But I would never, like, blatantly recommend this movie to anyone. I wouldn't ever be like, hey, you need to watch this movie. Because I would not push this onto anyone. It is something. And there's really not much else we can say about it, really. It's just, if you feel so inclined to watch it, go right ahead. I will still have it linked below like I always will. As you guys know, we push you guys to make your own decisions, form your own opinions. Do you while we do us. That's what we're all about here.
And of course, if you have seen this movie, let us know down below in the comments what you thought of this movie. You know, just...
Yeah. It's something, man. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this, maybe piqued your interest a little bit to maybe go check it out. But honestly, if you're not in the headspace to take something super extreme, just don't. Just don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Don't let your curiosity get the best of you and let yourself get fucked up. Because it's bad, man. It's bad. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to go follow both of us on Instagram. I'll have it on the screen and down below for you. Leave us a like before you go if you like this video. And like he said, comment your thoughts. Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Do you not want to see it? Because I don't want to see it, but I already did, so. Yeah, just drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And then if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it so you never miss an upload. And we will see you in the next one.